Hello, Bobcats. Mr. Flato here. Welcome back to what I hope will be a great week for you here at Helena Middle School. On this week's Bob lesson, I'm going to be talking about something that is inevitable, something that is going to happen to each and every one of us, happens to each and every one of us all the time, and that is making mistakes. And contrary to popular belief, why making mistakes can actually be a good thing if we process and we use it correctly. I think there's a feeling out there that making mistakes has kind of a negative connotation, that's not a good thing in life. But as I'm going to show in this video today, there's a lot of learning and a lot of potential growth that can come from making mistakes. So on that note, let's get rock and roll on this Bob lesson. Hope everybody goes out and has a great week here at the Helena Middle School. Lesson is going to be titled, Why Making Mistakes Can Be Good. But first, let's be our best this week at HMS. Let's be safe, let's be responsible, let's be respectful, and let's be a learner. All right, to start this Bob lesson, I had some 7th graders help me with a little game or a little challenge that I came up with in some videos you'll see here in a minute. And the objective of this game was to start at the top, and they had one of 3 options in every round to step on. And only one of the pieces of paper in the video is the right path to step on. The other 2 was not the right path. And you can see that the right path is marked with an X starting at the top and moving towards the bottom. And if they found the right path and it was the right step that they stepped on, they heard a little bell ring. If it was not the right path, they heard some variation of this no button that I have here. And if they heard the no button, then they had to go to the end of the line, and it was the next person's turn to step. And what the right path, this little experiment is all about, is learning from mistakes, watching the person in front of you, trying to identify the secret right path. And if you were the one that got all 4 successfully correct, then that was the person that earned the jelly beans. So now that I gave you a little background, let's watch this right now.
For the last time, no.
I told you.
No.
No. What?
No.
Oh my god. No.
No.
Oh, I thought it was.
No.
Oh wow, Dante gets it again. Yep.
Somebody stepped on it. What's wrong?
No.
Dana doesn't.
Leo.
Go ahead and take your jelly beans.
Right, I hope you guys like that demonstration. One of the things I love about that game is a couple different things. It's virtually impossible to guess all the rounds correctly all the way through. If you think about it, you have a 1 in 3 chance, which is a 33.3% chance on each round. If you calculate the odds of guessing 1 out of 3 correctly 4 times in a row, it comes out to 1.1% chance. And many things in life are like this, and this is what I'm going to talk about right now. We are all imperfect human beings who make mistakes, just like I just did trying to pronunciate imperfect. This is just a given. This is how we are built as human beings. We cannot escape the fact that we all make mistakes. I make a mistake probably every day of my life. Making mistakes is a part of life. It's how we learn. If you think about it, Much of life is a trial and error process. And I talk about this a lot with kids who are struggling with relationships, struggling with maybe romantic relationships. And I talk about it all the time. If you think about it, you go to math, you go to science, you go to social studies, you go to English, you go to music, PE, art, health, tech ed, music, choir. I'm probably missing some classes in there. But when it comes to like relationships, you don't go to a relationship class. You don't go to learn how to be, say, a boyfriend or girlfriend when you're ready for that someday. I talk about how you do it, you make mistakes, it doesn't work out, it falls apart, you hurt for a while, you learn from the process, and then eventually you do it again. Rinse and repeat. And so many things in life are like this. So many things in life don't have a black and white objective way lined out on how to do something. You've got to do your best, try your best, make mistakes, learn from your mistakes, and not make those same mistakes twice. So much of life is a trial and error process, and sometimes we're hard on ourselves, and sometimes we forget about that in life. There's so much of life out there that is gray. There's so much of life out there that is all about doing, failing, learning from it, and trying again. The last absolute is accept the fact that you're fallible, which means you're prone to making mistakes, and you will make mistakes. Don't go out there trying to live a perfect life. We want to go out there living within the rules. We want to go out there living with a good heart. We want to go out there living with respect, being responsible. We want to go out there living morally sound. But even when we do all those things, we need to accept the fact that we're human beings and we're going to make mistakes. All right, now that we got the absolutes out of the way, you may be asking yourself, okay, how can we use this? Well, first of all, mistakes can be our greatest teacher. If you think about maybe being a little kid and touching a hot stove for the first time, did you ever repeat that mistake again? Probably not. So when we fail in life, which we're gonna, it's inevitable. All of us fail all of the time. Let that be a teacher. Let that re-guide you the next time you are in that situation. Making mistakes, we learn what to do and what not to do, just like the hot stove analogy. As a young person, as a young child maybe, when we did touch that stove, we learned stoves are hot. Let's not touch that again. As human beings, we accept the fact that we will make mistakes. As I talked about in the intro, so many students are wired thinking making a mistake is not a good thing. The best thing we can do when we make a mistake, and I see this all the time, is recognize you make a mistake, own making a mistake, take responsibility for making a mistake, and then learn what you're going to do differently next time. That's the best way to move forward when we make mistakes. Where adults get irritable, where your parents get irritable, where Mr. Boyle gets irritable, is when we make the same mistake twice. There's a quote out there that goes something along the lines of, making a mistake is just being human. We're going to make mistakes. Making the same mistake twice, that is where it becomes a choice. When your teachers are constantly asking you to do something that is not being responsible or respectful in the classroom, when you're down at the principal's office for the same offense over and over again, when us as teachers or counselors or adults make the same mistakes and our bosses get on us, that's when adults and people in authority start getting a little irritable and a little cranky, because that tells us that it's not just a mistake, you're now making a choice. And finally, if we revert back to the video, you'll notice that pay attention to what other people are doing. Learn from other people's mistakes so you don't have to make them. If you think about the video, if you were watching the other people and then your turn came up, they should have unveiled what the right path was. And so many times when I do that experiment with kids, a kid in front of somebody will step on maybe the middle square and get the no button, and then when it becomes their turn, they step on that same one. Well, that kind of goes for life. I referee basketball. I talk a lot about refereeing basketball in these and in life because it's a microcosm of life. And when us as officials boot a rule, it just happened last night. I was watching some officials that misapplied a rule, and we talked about it. And now if that situation happens to me, I know that I'll get that right. Learn from other people's mistakes around you. Don't be afraid to, number one, make a mistake, but share those experiences with others. All right, that brings us to this week's quote of the week, which is, an error does not become a mistake until you refuse to correct it. And hopefully that's the overarching message. All right, this week's Jelly Bean Question Week winner: Charlotte Kastler, Ella Fontenot, Levi Vaskin, Evan Gordon, Vady Lehman, and Alexis Smith. How many months have 28 days? It's not just February, it is all of them. All right, this week's Jelly Bean Question of the Week: which is the number of the parking space containing the car? What parking space is the car parked in? If you think you know, we got 16, 6, 68, 88, the mystery number, and 98. If you think you know, submit your answer to the Bob Box. Tune in next week to see if you're a winner. All right, Bobcats, let's make it a great week at the Helena Middle School.